Joe Duffy for Winners and Whiners. What an incredible report I've got for you. LSU Oklahoma free winner. I'm also going to mix in a bonus winner on Ohio State and Michigan. And you know what? There is a big myth, big gambling myth that applies in that game. It's going to apply to quite a few games this week. So make sure you pay attention to that. All that and more is coming up. Joe Duffy's picks at Winners and Whiners. And we've been pretty damn hot. 30-15 in the NFL, 47-33 in football. Wise Guy plays in football, 35-15. Already still working on the weekend portfolio, but Thanksgiving you get 2 NFL plays anchored by a powerhouse Wise Guy. Friday, NFL Wise Guy side. Yes, remember, on Cyber Friday or whatever they call it, Black Friday, your first NFL game. And that's a Wise Guy, a college football Wise Guy among 4 gridiron winners. And then you got your Sun Belt East Game of the Year, headlining 8 must-win plays on Saturday. And site-wide, Cyber Week sale, 33% off of everything. Use code THANKS33. Just use that as one word. Now through Cyber Monday at midnight, combining Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and Cyber Monday into one. Take 33% off. Just enter code THANKS33. There are no limitations, no exclusions. Again, Thanks, 33. It's all one word. All right, let's take a look at LSU and Oklahoma from Joe Duffy's picks at Winners and Whiners. The best line available in this game, LSU plus 10 at minus 109 or Oklahoma minus 10.5 plus 100. Now, of course, that's a whole nother thing altogether, whether or not the half a point or the juice, how to weigh that accordingly. That's for another place and another time, but make sure you use odds logic to shop around for the best line. LSU is 3-8 against the spread. They're failing to cover by an average of 5.5 points per game. Oklahoma is 6-4-1 against the spread, but they're covering by an average of 2 points per game. Now, early indications of a possible pretty strong contrarian play on LSU, as most of the bets are on Oklahoma. And we talked about myth. This isn't the myth that I'm talking about, but you know what? There's another myth that really applies this time of the year and applies this weekend. People love to go with a team that needs the game more. Obviously, Oklahoma, they need a win here to stay in the playoff race. A loss would knock them out. So a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, we'll bet on Oklahoma. They got more to play for. No, they actually got more pressure. And this is a chance for LSU to play a nice little spoiler role. Again, it's a big betting myth that really applies in all sports, betting on the team that needs it more. Now, the NFL is sort of an exception, but we'll deal with that a little bit later on in the year. Road teams offer solid defensive efforts based on points allowed. And when they are playing an opponent that got fewer than 23 first downs last game, it's 12-58, 10-16, and 42. That one would benefit LSU. Now go with the road team versus an opponent that ran 26 or fewer times, as long as the team we're betting against wasn't leading after 3 quarters in the last game by 24 or more. Is 464, 340, and 19 for 57.7%. That also benefits LSU. Conference big road dogs with a low total is 218, 137, and 15. And again, with this total ranging from 36.5 to 37.5, points are tough to come by. Again, when you're getting 10 points in a game where only 37 points are expected to be scored, that is actually a lot more than getting the same number of points in a game in which 66 points are expected to be scored. You could argue, basically, we would say the spread relative, the percentage relative to what the total is. That's really measures how big a spread is. But yeah, you're talking about a big underdog in a game where points are going to be tough to come by. Now, LSU is the top under team in the nation, going under by an average of 10.8 points per game and under 8-3, but number one based on margin. Oklahoma is also one of the top under teams in the country. They go under 9-2, minus 7.8 points per game. So when teams have a combined over-under margin of minus 18, at least minus 18, and it's game 4 or more, it goes over. Yes, I said it goes over. 157, 116, and 8. Again, 2 massive under teams, especially once you've got at least 4 games under your belt, go over. Again, this total has to be artificially low. Yeah, I know it's going to be tough rooting for points in this game, but then again, it's even tougher to root for no points when you have no margin of there's nothing like rooting for an under in a low total. But no, we like the over. Again, two under teams mean an over. So your free winner on LSU and Oklahoma is to go over the total, over the total. All right, how about Ohio State and Michigan? According to Odds Logic, you can get Ohio State minus 10.5, minus 105. You can get Michigan plus 9.5, minus 102. Now, again, we really prefer to get the best juice, but again, shop around for the best line at Odds Logic. Get 10, 10.5, or minus 10, even minus 9.5 if you shop around, although you'll probably have to lay a little extra juice. Now, Michigan, they come into this game peaking at the right time. They're averaging 232.5 rushing yards in their last 5 games. Ohio State is 9-1-1 against the spread, covering by an average of 6.1 points per game. Michigan is 4-7, failing to cover by an average of 0.9 points per game. Ohio State's been a big under team, 7-4, minus 3.8. But again, one of the biggest myths you're going to hear this week is you'll hear people say, oh, I got to go with a double-digit dog in a big rivalry. I wrote an article many years ago where we exploited this. We took, we let the sporting news, which was relevant at the time, they determined what the top 10 or 15 rivalries were. And then I saw how the double-digit dogs did in all those rivalries. And there's actually a slight advantage to the favorite. Because when you think about it, when you got a mismatch and it's a big rivalry and then the favorite goes up, kind of the wind comes out of your sail. And that, yes, actually big favorites tend to do pretty well in big rivalries, contrary to the cliche. And you're going to hear the announcer say, throw out the records when these teams meet. The records don't mean anything. That's actually fake news. Big away favorites in triple revenge. 66, 29-2. That, of course, would benefit Ohio State. The Buckeyes have plenty of motivation to run up the score. Michigan, they planted the flag. I'm sure most of you are aware, but Michigan, when they won at Ohio State, they planted the flag at midfield. This is, of course, arguably the biggest rivalry in sports. Ohio State, despite being the national champions, they've got something to prove. So Ohio State has more than enough motivation to run the score up. And just think about this. Cornell Tate's their number 2 receiver. He's actually expected to be possibly the top receiver to go in the NFL draft this year. That's how deep they are on offense. Big conference dog, low total is definitely still a good play. That would, of course, benefit Michigan. However, that is actually better on the road. Big conference home dogs with a low total, not quite as good. Now, home-ranked teams that won at least 2 straight versus an opponent, also in the top 20, they're 117, 67, and 7. So that benefits Michigan. You know what? The truth is, probably not going to have a premium play on this because there's some good stuff on Michigan. But all in all, that great system about a road favorite and triple revenge and the quote-unquote intangibles, Ohio State's got both the talent and certainly the motivation to really want to run up this score. So my official free pick is to go with Ohio State. Again, make sure you check out that incredible sale at Winners and Winers. And that code, again, is THANKS33. And make sure you do like and subscribe. Should have said that, I guess, at the beginning. Make sure you like and subscribe to these videos. Here is another tremendous pick from another elite handicapper from the Winners and Winers team coming up in 3, 2, 1.